Tomorrow, President Trump will travel to the Middle East to mark the first phase of his Gaza peace plan. Israel says that a ceasefire took effect yesterday, and that has begun to withdraw its forces from parts of Gaza. That move kicked off the 72-hour countdown for Hamas to release the 20 hostages believed to be alive that it captured during its October 7th attack 2 years ago. In exchange, Israel will release about 2,000 Palestinian prisoners. Hours after the ceasefire began, tens of thousands of Palestinians returned to the Gaza Strip, raising hopes that the peace deal will end the Israel-Hamas war. Deborah Pata is in East Jerusalem with more. Deborah, good morning.
Good morning. Well, President Trump will address the Knesset, Israel's parliament, during his visit here. And then he heads to Egypt. The U.S.-brokered peace deal will see Israeli hostages freed in exchange for nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners.
For all the Israelis who campaigned tirelessly for the hostages to come home, President Trump is something of a hero.
As a niece of one of the hostages, I have a lot of love for President Trump because he's the one that really sealed that deal.
Now, they'd like to show their gratitude in person as Israel prepares for the first presidential visit of his second term in office.
He saved us from all this situation. We want to thank him very, very much.
President Trump arrives on Monday, which is also the deadline for Hamas to return all 48 hostages. 2 years of war has deeply divided Israelis. Many believe their government prioritized revenge over rescuing hostages. But they all agree on one thing. It is President Trump who got this deal over the line. Right up until the final hours before the ceasefire came into effect on Friday, Israel continued its bombardment of Gaza. But as soon as the guns went silent and Israeli troops withdrew to an agreed-upon line within the territory, tens of thousands of Palestinians began the journey home. Almost the entire population of Gaza has been repeatedly displaced over the past 2 years. They desperately hope to reclaim something of their life before the war. I heard my home was destroyed, said Rami Hamda, but I'm hoping I might be able to salvage some of my belongings. You can't even find a tent to stay in at the moment. For some, home was unrecognizable. There is nothing that remains of Muhammad al-Madun's life before she fled the fighting. I didn't find my house, my neighbors, nothing, she said. Everything was destroyed. There's no life left. And the people who died, they're gone forever. Amid the rubble and ruin, the ceasefire is still holding. But many Palestinians fear once the hostages have been freed, the bombing will start again.
The United Nations plans to scale up the delivery of aid over the first 60 days of the ceasefire, flooding it with food, water, sanitation, medical supplies and makeshift shelters. It says the entire population of Gaza needs some form of food aid. Michelle?
Deborah, thank you for your reporting.